whether I shall turn out to be the hero of my own life or whether that station will be held by anybody else. These pages must show. To begin my life with the beginning of my life, I record that I was born, as I have been informed and believed, on Friday. Hello, my name is Roshan, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about a book which I don't think my current subscribers and my current viewers ever dare to read it. Neither I would have read if it was not for the writing style of the book. Well, the book I'm talking about is David Copperfield, written by Charles Dickens. It's a quite thick one. The reason I say why my current subscribers and viewers would never dare to read it because the length of this book. The biggest problem while reading this book was to carry it around. So in recent time, I have been trying to get used to reading at public places, and wherever I was reading it, be it the bus, the train, and my workplace, people used to look at me like this was the most uncommon thing to do. The funniest comment I received was from this aunt who had observed me reading this quite often. She came to me and asked whether I was preparing to become a doctor, and I felt so miserable at that time. I wanted to share my story to her, that how miserable I am when it actually comes to studying, and what I should have been studying at public places, this book. But what I actually prefer to read is this. Let's talk about this book. So the full title of the book is The Personal History, Experiences and Observation of David Copperfield. This book is semi-autobiographical fictional book. So this was the kind of genre which I had never read. So this attracted me, and I picked this book in September last year. But because of the complexity of the language, I couldn't continue it. So I dropped it and picked something lighter. And while I was reading about this author yesterday, I came to learn this word, Bildungsroman, which means a coming of age story where the main character tells his story from the moment he is born. So this was the whole reason why I continued it. The language kept on getting complex, but of course Google helped a lot. And I was watching a video by Shashi Tharoor where he talks that one should just read through a book. You don't have to stop and look for each word on dictionary. Let's talk about the plot. The plot is very simple. David Copperfield talks about all of his life from the moment he is born, and there are some chapters which I'll read the title of it as it says: I am born, I observe, I have a change, I fall into disgrace, I am sent away from home, and it continues like this. The book is divided into more than 60 chapters, and at times I felt that it was quite stretched. But while I wanted to look for some article while I was reading it, and I found that this book was never meant to be published. So it is understandable why it is written in such a manner. So the things which I liked most about the book is the writing style, the themes which are friendship, love, betrayal, the importance of women in our life. All of these things combined make this story so beautiful, and especially the characters. They are so memorable. I will start with the antagonist, the first, which was introduced in the beginning of the story, Murdstone, who deserves to be despised by the whole world. I just can't stop thinking about him every day. Whenever I think of David Copperfield, Murdstone is reminded to me, and how I hate him. And as the story goes on, there are some more antagonists. Uriah Heep, who is not less loathsome than the first character. My favorite characters are, of course, David Copperfield, because of how vulnerable he is, right? I mean, he is so modest, and even after going through all those problems, he has this desire to learn and overcome all these challenges. And in his journey, the most helpful person, his aunt, she is so real for what she did with him. And yeah, she's one of my favorite, Agnes. And the most annoying character from this book is the love of Mr. David Copperfield, his wife, Dora. But as the story progresses, I understood why she was written in that manner. Maybe she was inspired by some real life character. And Mr. Micawber, who I read an article that he was inspired from the real father of Charles Dickens, who was also in quite a big debt and couldn't fulfill it. So this whole story is just the personal growth of our author through the point of view with this story is told, David Copperfield. And this is a whole journey. I mean, it took me more than 60 days to finish this book if I combine the earlier few days which I read in September. And as I said, the book is divided into more than 60 chapters, so one chapter a day. The reason to read this book are simply the writing style, the themes, and if you're looking to escape from social life or social media life, you don't have to escape social life, right? If you want to reduce your screen time, better to read it. I mean, there are a tons of words which I got to add in my dictionary, and of course I was introduced to the writing of Charles Dickens, which I will say that it was quite challenging in the beginning, and it took me some time to get used to the complexity of the language. And yeah, I fell into love with the challenges David Copperfield was able to ace, and I hope that this inspiration stays with me, because recently I have been getting so many comments from people around me that I should not be spending this much time or energy on reading books or novels just for the sake of pleasure. And I understand, this is the time where I should get a job, or I love reading, but when it comes to actually studying books like this, which need to be studied to get a job, maybe there is another reason why I continued reading it. At one stage of 2023, I was trying to learn shorthand, and I read that in this book, David Copperfield actually learned shorthand. So I wanted to know how he went through that journey, and boy, he had to work hard. I will give you 5 reasons why you should read this book. The first one is the writing style. It is complex, it is challenging, but once you get used to it, it's so fun to read. Second, the themes of this book. They are just so well written. As I said, the autobiographical fictional story, which is quite fun to read because you get to learn all the life experiences of the person by the point of whom the story is told. So the themes, the themes are family, love, betrayal, and personal growth, which is so important for me. The third one is the characters. They are so memorable. As I have said earlier, the characters are so memorable. And fourth, the length of the book. Yes, it is another point to read this because it is challenging. You will have to take it slowly and read it by your own pace. And fifth one, the illustrations in the book. I know it's fun to visualize when you are reading a book, especially a novel, but when I don't like it all the time, but the illustrations, once in a while, like every second chapter, you will find illustrations which are so good to look at. And there are some annoying parts too. The first one is, of course, the length of the book, which I said, which could be both the reason and the reason to not continue it. And the second, there are so many characters and some of them are so annoying, especially Dora, man. I found her so annoying, but there came a time when, I started to like her. So this is it for today's video. Hopefully I'll be able to finish this book and I will not review it. So thanks for watching. I'll end this video. Bye.